All right, we're gonna get started. Let's see here. Let me, yes. Oh, yep. Let me get the mic on. There we go. Hopefully that's better. I just need to share my screen and then pull up the slides as soon as I can get to them. It does the thing where it puts it in your face. Okay. All right. Thank you all for coming to our Holy Cross Neighborhood Association meeting. We have quarterly meetings. Is anybody new? Any raise of hands? Has everybody been to one of these before? Okay, I'll kind of skip any of the major introduction parts, but a couple of things we always start with. I'll just introduce myself. I'm Jen Higginbotham. I'm the president of the Neighborhood Association, hence why I'm starting the meeting. We always want to give a big thank you to the Cap Indy Center. They have always generously provided us space for several years now, and it's been great to have the ability to have the screens and everything. So very thankful to them. Just a reminder, we are recording the meeting. We don't post it live anymore, but we do post it to YouTube afterwards. The live streaming was just a bit difficult. Conversations, if we have a full lineup, we want to keep comments brief. We do have a bit shorter of a lineup today, so we actually might get out of here in about an hour, I'm hoping. But that's just a general reminder. Bathrooms are kind of around the corner. And if you have like really big thoughts about any of the things we go over tonight, we do have an association board, and that's just a group that meets in the month prior to these meetings. And you're more than welcome to join that, where we can really like dig in on things to a level that we can't during these meetings. Guest speakers today, I had Stacy up here, but it's actually Roman from IMPD. He's going to be up first. Andrew, is Andrew here? No. Okay. Andrew may show up. I think he confirmed he was coming, but we'll fit him in later if he shows up a little late. And then Rosemary. Yes, Rosemary. Okay. Rosemary is our new mayor's neighborhood advocate. So she's going to introduce herself as well. So then we have several neighborhood reports for President Update Foundation, needs assessment, and the Wine and Cheese Festival recap. And then we'll talk a little bit about events that are coming up. So as usual, we're going to jump right into it with our guest speakers. It does say Stacy again, but we are going to have Roman. So,
you know, it's kind of funny that it says Stacy up here because out on the street when we're out rolling around on our bikes, everybody on the street calls us Salt and Pepper because we're always together. So we're like two peas in a pod. You don't usually see us apart, but tonight I gave her the night off and let her go spend some time with her family because we juggle a lot of these community meetings together. But with that said, my name's Roman Williams Irvin. I'm a community resource officer, like the title says. What that means is we're kind of like the catch-all for the police department, and we handle quality of life issues and pretty much anything the bosses tell us to do. We don't take calls for service. We're here to try to help improve the quality of life in neighborhoods. So we kind of do a lot of different things. We investigate some things, and we handle some other issues that maybe if you call 911, they don't have time to handle. So with that said, I'll give you guys a couple stats real quick. I did look at the crime stats for your particular area today, and year to date, violent crime is down 9%, 9.4% in your neighborhood. On the east side, it's the double digits. I looked at that last week, but I don't have the exact figure. And then property crime in your neighborhood is down 7.4%. So property crime and violent crime are both down in your neighborhood, and that's a good thing. Typically in the summer months, those crimes trend up, but they haven't. So not in your particular neighborhood. So that's a good thing. We have received some complaints and things in your neighborhood. You may know of some, you may not. Stacy and I have worked on some of those complaints ourselves and tried to bring some resolution to some of those. Some of those other complaints we forwarded on to our counterparts in our narcotics and gun crime units. They have, as of earlier this week, served some warrants on some houses in your neighborhood. So I can't comment on those investigations, but they have served warrants at some of those houses this week. But Besides that, I got a couple announcements. We have Coffee with the Cop next week on Wednesday at 21st and Shaylin. That's a event where you guys, or as a community, can come out, speak to our bosses, and officers that work on the street taking 911 calls. But that's at 21st and Shaylin next Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you're off, or just feel free to come out. We also have our blood drive on September 5th, where you can come out and give blood. So if you give blood regularly, come give blood with us. We always have a big goal. We try to reach those goals. But this one's to memorialize 9/11. But that's from 12 to 6 at our roll call. And I'll leave these flyers here. And then I have our dates for our task force meetings, which are our community meetings, similar to this, but for neighbors from the entire east side to come out and hear from us, from our bosses and things like that. This past month, the commander spoke and gave updates. He answered questions that I'm not necessarily allowed to answer, because I'm just a patrolman. But he answered some of those questions. And but this next week or next month, we'll have the commander from our nuisance abatement unit come out. And nuisance abatement just handles things like problem properties, bars, anything you would think excise would handle, but on the local level. So if you're having issues with short-term rentals, I know that's been an issue here in the city. If you want to ask any questions about things like that, those are the people that you'd want to ask those questions to. I don't know if you're experiencing that in your neighborhood, but I know a lot of near east side neighborhoods are having issues with that. So, but I'm here for you guys to ask me any questions. If I can answer the question for you, I will. I don't believe in lying to people when I come to these meetings. A long time ago, I live on the south side. I went to one of my neighborhood meetings and I was like, oh, those answers aren't necessarily truthful. So, but of course, I'm a cop and I knew that. But I don't believe in telling people things that just aren't necessarily true. So if I can't answer it, I'll tell you that. If I can, I can. So, anybody have any questions for me before I cut out of here? No? All right. Great. Well, you guys are a great audience, and go ahead, ma'am. So the way we measure crime and those sorts of numbers is reported crime, right? We only know what we know. So yeah, if you're saying that, oh well, there's a lot of gunshots in my neighborhood, and no one's calling the police about those gunshots or anything like that, then we don't know. But if you're saying, oh, there's last year there were 5 rapes, and this year there are 0 rapes, then we can measure that. Reported, reported crime. Violent crime and property crime are the main 2 measures that we. And violent crimes are things like rape, robbery, homicide, aggravated assaults, and property crimes are thefts from vehicles, burglaries, things like that. Yes. So it's year to date from last year. 9% down in this neighborhood, in particular. So I'll give you an example. Somebody from this community contacted Stacy in particular, and said, XYZ address, I think it's a problem in our neighborhood. We're like, okay, what can we do about that? We work in a larger unit called the Neighborhood Impact Unit. That's us and 2 other teams. We contacted the supervisors and those teams who do investigative work, plainclothes work, things like that. And they looked into the address. They went out to the address, and then they had enough probable cause for a judge to issue a warrant for the address to search the house for shots fired. Look out. But no, they got enough probable cause to go serve a warrant at that house to further investigation, whether they make arrest or whatever. Does that answer your question? All right. Go ahead.
I know because I've looked at it before, but if we wanted to compare, say, year over year, just talking about 2024 versus 2025, we can go on the .gov
Yeah.
website and see how crime has come down in the last 10 years or more.
Right, and you can see how it has fluctuated and so on. I will say that crime, for in 2020 did spike quite a bit, and it has been trending down since then, and it's continuing to trend down. I'd like to take credit for that, but I have to give some of the credit to the rest of my team. Just kidding. Go ahead. Yes, the crime right now is we're lower than 2020. It has continuously gone down from that level. So we are seeing a lower level rate of crime right now than we did see in 2020. I'm sure we can all guess what that had to do with, but pre-2020. So when we had the spike, we're probably close to where that was, which was fairly low for a city our size. And I just reported to you guys on the levels for your particular neighborhood. For the east side, violent crime is probably down around 24%, which is a big deal for the east side. The east side is the busiest police district in the city. So if violent crime is down on the east side, that means it's down in the entire city. All right. Thank you. I'll leave these flyers here for you guys on the table up here. So if you guys need anything, feel free to email us. We're always happy to help.
Thank you. Thank you, officer. I will put these back here in just a second. Moving along, we have, like I said, we'll fit, Andrew hasn't shown up yet, right? No. We'll fit Andrew in if he shows up, and we're going to move on to Rosemary. Thank you for coming.
I am Rosie Stockdale, and I'm your new mayor's neighborhood advocate. Little bit about me. I am a lifelong member of St. Clair Place. I live in the house I was born and raised in. So I am a neighbor just like you all are. My kids were third generation going to St. Philip Neri and second generation through Cecina. So some of you may have known some of them. I don't have any actual updates for you tonight because Jen said she keeps track of Indigo and the things that I would typically bring. I will try to answer any questions that anyone has of me. I will tell you, like Roman said, I'm not going to lie to you. I have no problem saying I don't know and getting the right answer back to you. And I have no problem telling you, no, we're not going to do anything about that problem, because my attitude has always been, once I give a hard no, it frees you all up to figure out how to change your reasoning to try to re-argue it to the city or how to solve it yourself. So I'm not going to, my biggest example of that is before I had the job and I would go to my own neighborhood meetings and someone would say, my street needs to be repaved. And the answer always seemed to be, it's on the list, which implies that it's going to be done within the next year, maybe two. Well, the truth is, every single street in the county is on a list. There are people who go out and inspect them. I think it's every 3 years. So they are always on a list to know which ones are going to be in need of repair the quickest. So unless I can tell you it's on a list to be done next year, being on a list doesn't matter. And I always hated that. Those kind of responses are exactly why I wanted this job. I've been in my position for going on 10 years now. I am the only one on the 25th floor that was an original hire with this administration, and I plan on retiring from this job. I've spent the last 8 years over on the southwest side of town. I'm happy to be home. The drives are a lot shorter, but it's also great to feel like I'm getting paid to help my own neighborhood. So I've got cards. I'll pass those around. If anybody has general questions, I'm happy to answer them. If you have very specific ones, I will stay through the meeting. So we can talk afterwards. The parking lot meetings are the best part of the meeting anyway, right?
I think some of the here know what you actually can make a change on, or what you can actually answer questions about, as far as being the mayor's neighborhood.
Okay, what I can do is very little.
Like we bring.
Okay, so my job is to work with neighborhood groups and individuals to accomplish more with the groups to accomplish the projects you want to get accomplished. Whether that's some neighborhoods I am not as needed as others because some, and it sounds like you guys are very well organized and probably have a lot of the contacts that I would be connecting you with anyway. So more on an individual basis. If you've ever called anything into the Mayor's Action Center and you don't ever know what happens to it, the Mayor's Action Center, the people who answer those phones do a phenomenal job. As a mayor's neighborhood advocate, we have to fill in once a quarter for them to have professional days. No one could pay me enough to do that full time. But their job is to get as many calls answered throughout the day as possible. That does not leave a lot of time for any explanation why the answers are what they are. So if you need more of an explanation, if you need more time to talk things through, that would be me. My hours are flexible. I'm not tied to a desk or a building. I can meet you where you need to meet. If you want to talk face to face and the only time you might have is a lunch hour, I can come to where you work. I can meet you at lunch. And I do that. I'm not one who is confined to saying, well, I'm off work now. So my job is to make, as much as it is to help you accomplish things, it's to make sure you understand the reason why answers are what they are. If something's fallen through the cracks, I can help those sort of things. One of the things that comes up that I can get immediate response from, maybe a little quicker than the Mac, well, probably, definitely, is I've had several instances where overnight someone's come and just done illegal dumping right in the middle of an alley where people can't get in or out. You probably want to give me a call then. I can probably help facilitate getting someone out to clean that up quicker. The other thing that I am promoting big time, the way you're shaking your head as soon as I said illegal dumping, I assume there's at least pockets where that's a problem. So do you all know that the city will provide 2 signs per property, that the illegal dumping penalty, $2,500, that you can get? If you have a problem with dumping, the actual procedure is that you go down to the city county building and sign and pick them up. I think that is ridiculous for us to expect you to find a place to park, pay to park, go through metal detectors for something that should only take no more than 10 minutes. So if you need those signs, let me know. I will bring them to you. If there's other things, my My job looks different for each neighborhood. So my job is to be a help to you all. If you ever have something you don't know who to call, rather than you call someone and get transferred 10 times, if you call me and I don't know the exact right place to send you, it would be my job to get transferred 10 times and call you back with the right place to call. So it's hard to describe what M&As do. I like to say I am the face of the city, because usually your first contact with the city is if you call the Mayor's Action Center. If you need more personal contact than that, I'm that next step. So yes, it makes me feel good. I am the face of the city. Anything else? Okay, if anybody thinks of anything, and you want to talk to me, like I said, I will be here.
All right, thank you, Rosemary. All right, we're going to move on to neighborhood reports. We're going to start with president's report. So first thing I did invite our counselor, Jesse Brown, to attend. He couldn't make it. He said he was quadruple booked or something like that. He's a very busy person. So he said on August 11th, which was, I believe, last week, the annual city budget was presented to the council. When he sent me this update, that was before August 11th. So he basically just said that was coming up like a few days after he sent me this. And he said, if you can just let people know to contact him if you have any questions or concerns or frustrations or ideas concerning that budget. So that was essentially his update. I have his email and his phone number there. I can always pull it back up after the meeting if you didn't catch it, but that was the main thing that he wanted me to pass along. Moving on to updates in the neighborhood. So I have several kind of street work updates. So Market Street Underpass finally open again. I think it's been open for a few weeks now. Very excited to have that. Hopefully it won't close on us again. And the 2/8 Street conversions. So I had a note in here that it was all open except for a little section of New York where the railroad was. But yesterday they opened that up. So the railroad got their work done. Yeah. So we've got that whole link through our neighborhood from College all the way through the neighborhood of New York and Michigan, fully 2-way now. Bike lanes are open. I went out with the group last night that did the bike ride. It was a great time. So yay.
Can I take
Yes.
glitch that I found?
Yes.
If you have GPS built in your car, you may not be able to drive the new directions.
Okay.
Mine yells at me at least twice a block that
You're on a one-way street. Yeah. Yeah.
Check my directions.
Yeah. So
GPS hasn't
Yeah.
caught up with the reality.
So I'll just repeat that for the recording, but pay attention to your GPS and it might still be sending you off of the 2-way streets right now until that kind of catches up. Blue line construction. So we don't have details on that yet. They're starting in kind of pockets. They're doing some like utility work first, and they're just kind of hitting it here and there. We saw some cones and things up on Washington Street a couple months ago. Right now I'm going to these Thursday morning update meetings that Indigo puts on just to like give you a like literal quick buzz. Like they just buzz through this like Word document. And what I can catch as it flies by, because we don't have any work in our neighborhood yet, is that it looks like somewhere in September, they're going to be doing work from Alabama to Southeastern. So from Alabama Street downtown to Southeastern Street where the Hardee's is. And then sometime in October, they've got construction work happening from Southeastern to State. So it looks like there's going to be some sort of work happening between Alabama and State in September and October. But it was literally one bullet and that's all it said in their updates so far. So I think I'll have more information when it's actually closer to that, to them doing it. And those dates could still move, like they could push those off. So that's just the information they have now. So that's just a heads up. Street safety, there is a group that's been communicating with city on different safety concerns. There was something going on at Arsenal in New York with the curb ramps that I think were tripping hazards. So they've been trying to take care of that. There's some thermo paint for the bike arrows that were like kind of messed up where they didn't get put on correctly. Yeah, so they're trying to get those redone. So there's some things like that going on. And, you know, if you want me to clue you into those people or you want to help out with that, just email info@IndyHoly Cross. I can always connect you. Also, just a heads up, there's no information on this yet because it's very new, but we will be talking about it with the association board. So again, if you want to get into like the deep details, like please join us. Art in the right of way. This is part of the city's community powered infrastructure program where you can do artwork within like the roadway areas of the city. And over on Michigan Street, I noticed that kind of next to King Doe, where we have that big area, there's a whole bunch of bollards that showed up in a triangle. So I did ask them about that. It was supposed to be a curbed median area, but because of like the whole Pogues Run water system, there's a bladder, like a containment system under the street. So they couldn't actually put a curb in because that would have been digging down to where that containment is. So they couldn't actually go into the street to be able to curb it. So they just put a bunch of bollards there. So I just said, well, if you're just gonna have a bunch of bollards there, could we like paint something in it? So Amanda and I had a call last week with, maybe it was this week, I don't know, with DPW to talk about that. And it's not going to be a fast thing if it happens at all. So I'm not promising anything is going to happen right now, but we would have to go through like an application with the city. They said it would be a great location for it. It doesn't seem like there'd be a lot of hurdles. The biggest hurdles are like actually designing the artwork, potentially collaborating with Cottage Homes since they're on the other side of the street, things like that. So again, if you want to be part of it, please email and we can loop you in.
We're looking for artists.
Yeah, if anybody in the neighborhood wants to like volunteer to like put something together, we're looking for something probably fairly simple so that we could actually get out there within a few hours on a Saturday morning and have neighbors paint it and not make it this big, like long drawn out thing. So yeah, we could potentially use paint from the lending library for the community powered infrastructure, which would make the paint even free. So yeah, we're looking into that. More details to come, assuming that we can actually get some momentum. Urban Times, I got an email this week from Mark Liska earlier this week saying that whoever was doing the State Arsenal and Summit route, that is all those streets north of New York Street, has had to drop out of the delivery system. So if anyone is interested in helping out with the Urban Times, it's once a month. It gets you out. You can kind of walk around. You just have to like drop the newspapers at the doors of the different houses that are on that route. So Mark said it would be great if we had somebody volunteer by Monday. If you're interested in that, I've put his email up on the screen. You emailed him? Oh, awesome. I didn't know that. Thank you. So are you going to take the route? Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Everybody. Yay. I know, right? So moving on, president search. So I have been the president for 3 years now. This is my third year as president of the neighborhood association. I am looking to like do some other things. So I would really like to find somebody who's interested in sort of like taking up that mantle and sort of being that neighborhood president moving forward. It's a great opportunity to kind of get involved and like get connected to people with the city and things like that. The elections for the next, for all of the 4 officers for the neighborhood association, the elections are in April. So that's still several months away. So if you're interested in like learning more about it, let me know. I can just like talk you through it. If you just want to like learn more, or if you really think that you want to go for it, like you're welcome. I'm happy to like kind of have you shadow, or like you might want to do things different than I do it, and that's fine too. So like basically, if you know any neighbors who might be interested, or if any of you are interested, please reach out and let us know. And then now we're moving on to the foundation report for Renee.
Okay, hey everybody. All right, let me know if you hear any feedback. I just want to I've been told I need to speak into the microphone tonight. You're welcome. Okay, so we've got our balance totals up here. Just almost $50,000 in our total balance. As I talked about earlier this year, we invested some of our money into something that's just like a high yield savings because we were earning nothing in the checking account, so we might as well earn something. So we've got a little over $15,000 in there, and then our checking account has almost $35,000 in it. Of the total of the 49, almost $50,000, 23 of it's restricted for certain projects, signal boxes, the gateway sign, park sculpture maintenance, and then we keep a fund to keep the wine and cheese festival going because some things obviously you have to pay for before you have money in. So that's what the restricted funds are. We have a few ongoing ways that we earn money. Kroger Community Rewards. If you shop at Kroger and you don't already have your card hooked up with an organization, we've got a QR code. I've got it sitting over there. And the metal neighborhood signs are here. So if you want a new sign that is metal, or you want to replace your plastic sign, the metal signs are available. They're $45 each. And we just wrapped a Holy Cross logo t-shirt sale campaign. If you missed it, we'll probably do another one later this year. It is the normal neighborhood logo. So you'll probably see some of them around here. I think they're supposed to come in the next week-ish. So if you ordered one, they should be here soon. The nice thing is it's not a lot of work or a lot of overhead for the neighborhood. Everyone can order their own and then they get shipped straight to them. So it's a nice, easy fundraiser for the neighborhood. We need to find at least one more board member. We had a board member retire recently. She's actually going to have twins, so she needs to focus on that. So if you're interested in joining our group, we're really looking for someone who's interested in serving and contributing to the greater good of the Holy Cross neighborhood. So if you're interested, you can email our foundation at indyholycross.org. Email address. Yeah.
What's the time?
Oh, that's a good question. So time commitment, we meet every other month. It takes us like an hour and a half to get through our meeting. Nikki's on the board with me, and Susan. I think that's it for the people in the room that are on the foundation board. And then whatever time you're able to commit for different projects. So it kind of depends on what you're able to do. It goes in spurts. It depends on what project you want to focus on. Susan's taken on quite a few things actually for us. So she's got a little bit more of a time commitment than some other folks might. And actually Nikki's been doing a lot too. Well, yeah, Susan's retired. So she raised her hand and said, I'll help. And then Nikki's had some time on her available. So she's been doing a lot for us too. But some people, it's mostly answering questions, doing emails, and then the meeting. So it kind of depends on what you have available. We have a nice time. We hang out together. We get a lot done. We've gotten a lot done. Teresa actually was recently on the board. She stepped away so she could focus on some other things too. So if you have questions on how fun it is to be on the foundation board, you can talk to any of those 3 people. It's a good question. Thank you, Kylie. We have a project/fund request form. So if you have an idea for something that would require time or funds, you can go on the neighborhood website and fill out the form. Some of our active projects right now are on here. We were waiting for the two-way conversion to finish before we started working on the gateway sign. We thought it would potentially be damaged. So we kind of put a pin in that. And then as you have probably seen, the pole signs have seen better days. So that's something that we were fundraising for as well. The pole signs, they're the ones that are the neighborhood logo on some of the utility poles, or you can see where a sign maybe used to be, but the storms had taken it out. Yeah, actually, yes, the Nesco ones, we didn't have to ask for permission if we hung them where those were. So the ones that we redid, we put in those same spots. But, so I've got some notes on what we're kind of looking at. We're looking at pivoting from one gateway sign on the triangle to multiple signs at the gateways around the neighborhood. With the two-way conversion, we have a lot more gateways than we used to have. So we're kind of looking at what makes the most sense to show people that they're in Holy Cross. Plus the interstates say Holy Cross in a bunch of places, right? So we can kind of look at what we're gonna do. So we are working with Eden. We had a grant that we had gotten. So we're working with Eden to gain approval to look at multiple smaller signs instead of one larger sign. We're working with AES to get permission to adjust the locations of the signs, so we don't have to put them all where those old Nesco signs are. So what are our next steps after that? We will engage with a sign company to install new, sturdier, and more color-fast signs, and also take down the ones that are existing, especially if the signs are in a different place, right? We don't want to leave the old ones up there. And then we're also going to have an Adopt a Sign campaign to help with maintenance for the signs ongoing. So watch for that later this year. We're hoping it's going to be kind of a fun, cool thing where an individual or a company can adopt a certain sign and then have recognition that they've adopted that sign in some way. So we're working out the details on how we'll do that. So watch for that later this year. We are also, if you hadn't noticed, DPW had taken all of our fun painted signal boxes along New York and Michigan and taken them out, and the plain ones are getting graffiti tagged already. So we wanted to wait till the two-way conversion was over before we looked at restarting that project. We do have some restricted funds left from the last time we did this, so we have some of that. Susan has already contacted the Arts Council, and we're looking at if there's funds available, and we put a call out for artists. However, if you know an artist and you think they might enjoy the project, wave, let us know for sure. So we're kind of in the initial planning stages of getting the signal boxes straightened out. We had another project come in that was not approved as requested, but still very worthwhile. So I wanted to mention it to the group. Someone had asked if we would consider financially supporting Fountain Square and their initiative to maintain their fountains. And we thought that was a really great idea, but we thought if we did that, we would have to financially support any other neighborhood that came to us and asked for something. So we thought it would be better perhaps for the neighborhood to support them through building relationships and promoting what they need, or with time, or there are many other ways we could support. So we thought that would be a better way to do that. So if you're interested in participating anything in an organized way for that, you can email that Foundation Indy Holy Cross or info@Indy Holy Cross and let us know you're interested, and we can work on connecting you with the folks who you might be able to work with for that. Any questions on the foundation update? Please. Oh yeah. It's just that there's also money. So last quarter we got like a $43 check, right? Which is not a lot, but it's free money. So we'll take it. So yep, absolutely. Yep. And then absolutely. Any other questions about the foundation? Okay, thanks guys.
Oh, it's coming up. We've got some slides on it. We are going to shift now to see, it's coming up. We're going to shift to Nikki, who's going to give us an update on the survey that we did for neighborhood needs. So that up here and going.
Everyone, Nikki Middenhall. I am the vice president of the foundation. It was really hard to get. Nobody else wanted it. So feel free to come and join the board. I was going to run right into this, and I realized that a lot of you might not know some of the background. So I thought I'd step back and give some of the backstory about this survey that I'm about to kind of go through and give you the results for. So about a year ago, Foundation was working on some strategic planning. And as a part of our strategic plan, we were trying to kind of more focus and come up with improve our organization by determining what it was that we really wanted to push for within the neighborhood and what is our specific role in the neighborhood. So we put together a new vision statement, basically that we are seeking an engaged, inclusive community where neighbors thrive together. And our mission is building physical and social infrastructure that invites neighbors to a community where everyone can make a difference. As a part of that, we have goals, we have things that we're working towards, physical and social infrastructure that we want to help support, but we don't necessarily know what it is that the neighbors want. And so we realized we really wanted to step out and actually find out, what do the people in our community actually want built and put into place. So we worked on this survey last year. And so over the course of last winter and last spring, we were passing out the survey and then wanted to basically go through the results. So I'm going to go through a little more background on the survey, just so you understand how it was kind of put together, the summary, and then talk through what our next steps for this are. So some of you may have gotten a piece of paper stuck in your door last spring. If you did not get that, I apologize. We didn't do door hangers like, political campaigns do. And so I was shoving it in door frames and inside of mats. I avoided mailboxes since I was worried about federal crimes. But we basically, we put together a survey using Google Forms and put it on a piece of paper. So we first shared the survey at last December's holiday party. And then we shared it again through a QR code at the February neighborhood meeting. And then we walked around and left it at 669 residences and 52 businesses. I also was able to track down some of the larger apartment buildings and figure out who the landlords were and reached out to them. And a few of them agreed to host it in their common area. So that was the best we could. There was a couple of landlords in some places we couldn't quite get to, but we tried to be reaching out the best we could to try to get as much of a response from as many people in the community as possible. We basically, just in case people want to know about quantitative stuff, we don't know if every person in the household responded or only one person, but that just is some more background. So we got 109 responses. So as I was putting together this survey, we had some statistical information that we put together and a bunch of questions where people could just give us raw whatever they wanted to answer. And we were focusing in on social infrastructure and physical infrastructure. As a part of our physical infrastructure, I wanted to kind of step back and warn you that we provided sample responses. And it's important to keep in mind as you're thinking through this that we didn't get community input for what those sample answers were. So there's going to be, there was a few things that I knew of that neighbors cared about, but those sample answers actually came from primarily me. So there's going to be a little bit of a bias in those answers about some of the things I care about. And I tried to put some other things that I knew some of the neighbors had in there, but that's also why I'll be going through some other responses we received well. And so I want to just make sure people are not weighing these responses too heavily compared about some of the other stuff I'm going to go through later, because people didn't necessarily have a full range of things that maybe they would have responded to. So this is basically the physical infrastructure. I couldn't quite get everything on the page very well, but the first one is about Highland Park and new playground equipment. We also have updates to Highland Park, updates to the Esplanade, north-south multi-use path, which that was there before the street was painted, although that may not change what people would have responded. There's also developing more community spaces, which is very kind of generic. Sidewalks, walkability and connectivity to downtown and bike racks in the park. I would say when you're looking at this, you could tell definitely people were very interested in walkability and connectivity to downtown. And if you look through some of the other ones are also about walkability as well, because we have sidewalks, a use path. So I think overall, if you're thinking about physical infrastructure, it looks like one of the biggest things that our neighborhood compared about of the answers I provided to you guys was walkability. And as a heads up, I used to work at the Department of Transportation, so walkability is actually kind of one of my favorite things. So, so that might be why that accidentally happened. But I'm glad that the neighborhood seems to also like some of the things I care about. Highland Park, so we have a connectivity to downtown, making sidewalks more walkable, north-use, multi-use path are, I would say, the three largest numbers of responses of people's of interest. And then Highland Park was the next thing up of making some improvements to Highland Park. We also were trying to find out about social infrastructure. I don't know if you guys are reading a lot out there, but there's a lot of concerns about where we are in the U.S. In civics, and some of the things that people are worried about is community engagement, involvement, and people being together. And some of the thought and concern is that maybe we need to be doing more things together as a community. And so I think as we were meeting and worrying about, we wanted to make sure that this community had ways for us to be able to engage or support each other in a social manner as well. So we had questions about people's interest in social activities and social programs and social support. And this is the one that we got the highest response for. Anything else is basically events or concert series in Highland Park. As you can tell, 80.2% of the respondents want things going on in Highland Park. Just to kind of warn you, 20 years ago, I had some training and putting together surveys, but it's been a very long time. So the way that got bunched together, we can't know if people were responding more about concert series or just events in general. But there's definitely a lot of interest of having things in Highland Park, as you can tell. We have a lot of other interest in other activities as well. So I wanted to just warn about taking a lot from this, like so outdoor exercise classes. 38.6 people responded that they thought that this should be a priority. Well, you know, an exercise class is something that's very easy to put together. And if about 38% of 109 people are interested in it, that's still actually pretty good activity to still be putting on as well. Especially considering how little of work it takes to put on an event like that. Some information about, we also had some other questions on this survey, and one of the things we asked about was art. We had a chance for people to put in a substantive content. It was kind of hard to come up with a big picture of what people thought about with their optional or their additional information about what they wanted art-wise. But you could tell from one of their responses is that there seems to be a sense that people want art to be everywhere, not just on Highland Park, not just on the Esplanade, but the biggest response at 60% was they wanted the neighborhood to be working with business owners and property owners throughout the neighborhood to be installing art. So with this survey, I had questions where people could provide responses. And one thing I meant to mention to you is that for those questions, people weren't limited to choosing one. And in fact, they could choose every single one of those items as a priority. And so we wanted to make sure during that survey that people told us what they wanted as well. And so there was the ability for people to basically just tell us in parts of the survey in narrative form, the things that they wanted in the neighborhood. So I wanted to kind of go through and give just a kind of an overview of some of the things that we found there. So with infrastructure project feedback, 43 people of 101 respondents for that section stepped and took some time to put in some additional comments about infrastructure they wanted built or replaced. Of 43 special comments, 21 were actually about Highland Park. So that there shows that there is kind of more of an interest than you would have assumed from the initial sort of questionnaire. But some of the things we saw were there was requests for seating and benches, signage about the history of park, landscaping concerns. Some people mentioned wanting a splash pad or a replacement to the playground, and some responses about pets. Some other things that we saw in there where more than one individual put in a response. There was a sidewalk repair request, infrastructure for the Esplanade. A few different people raised concerns about alley maintenance and repairs. Some people raised concerns about traffic and wanting traffic calming devices. And there was more than one person who wanted a dog park. 26 people gave additional information about social activities they want in the neighborhood. So where we received requests from more than one person, art show, art fair, book club. They wanted more engagement with neighborhood businesses, the community garden, concert in Highland Park, concerts in Highland Park, and a farmer's market. And then there was a few other interesting and unique ideas that we thought we'd keep track of.
There's a book club. If you're interested, talk to Susan.
All right, so we did the survey. We got a lot of information about what people have an interest in. So we wanted to kind of walk through what the sort of the next steps of how do we use this information. So the Neighborhood Foundation, we've been definitely trying to make sure that we understand what our role is, and we want to make sure that we're doing a lot more of supporting through fundraising and through and grant writing and things like that. And I know that the Neighborhood Association already has a lot of projects that it has underway as well. So where we can be successful with this is if we can actually find volunteers who have an interest in certain types of projects, particularly these types of projects, that you can work with us and that we can try to help support, especially potentially in a financial way or through grant writing or different means. And so the goal and the hope is to find out if there are people who are interested in stepping up and trying to put some of these things into play. So if you have an interest in volunteering, we made a Google form It asks for your general interest, if there's a specific area you have an interest in, and to what extent you're willing to lead the efforts as well. We hope to circle around and see what interest we get in this, and then and to kind of help these groups kind of move forward with this. This link will also be emailed out in a future newsletter, so it'll take a little while for us to be circling around and try to help get this into place. I just created a few days ago. Is there any questions about the survey results or? Okay. Well, for anybody who's volunteering, I just gave an overview. There's way more in-depth actual stuff that I can hand off to those to actually dig through responses for. But I know that we don't need to do any more in-depth than that tonight. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nikki. Very interesting. My mouse falls asleep every time somebody comes up. We're gonna go and get our wine and cheese update now. Super fun and exciting. Yeah.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you. Everybody who volunteered or sponsored or attended because it was hot. The planning team, anybody who was a vendor, anybody who was a partner, if you donated to the silent auction, if you bid on the silent auction, thank you. If you were on the planning team, I'm going to embarrass you. I would like you to stand up, please. And if you don't stand up, I'm going to say your name. So you might as well just stand up. Susan, you helped too. Yes, ma'am. You were on the. I added you to the distribution list. You were on it. So thank you. Thank you. This was literally like half or a little more than half of our team right here. All right. Here's the numbers, guys. We budgeted to hopefully make about 37,000. We actually made closer to 45,000. We budgeted for about 31,000 in expenses, and our expenses were actually only at 26,500. So we were hoping for 6,000. We made 18,500. So why was that different? We had a lot more donated and then bid on for the silent auction. So that was much higher. We had actually higher ticket sales than we were hoping for. So that was helpful. We had a lot of in-kind donations, which brought our costs down quite a bit in a lot of areas. So we have profits that will help fund the priorities from the needs assessment Nikki was just talking about. We will be scheduling a 2026 date at a meeting in early September. If you want to join our team and make a difference, email wineandcheesefest at indyholycross.org. We need additional help. We cannot I cannot work the same number of hours on it for sure. We need help. I don't think Tim will let me work the same number of hours that I worked this year. So please, when we start planning kind of late fall into the winter, it's probably about 2 hours a week. And then depending on what your role is, it could be closer to 10 hours a week as we're leading up to the festival, kind of putting the finishing touches on things. Go ahead, Susan.
Said you have a lot of good template documents
Mhm.
for the people who follow after you. So if somebody comes in,
Yes.
organization and information and help somebody. So don't feel intimidated if you've never done anything like this, because there's a lot.
We have a lot on our Google Drive, and every year we build, Jordan, who's not here tonight, but her husband is here, built a ton of templates, for example, for our marketing. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel on that. We have a lot of things that every year certain pieces get easier. But then every year we also work to build additional relationships. So we forged relationships with Penrod, for example, this year. So if you donated your time or bought tickets early, you got a discount code, for example, with Penrod. And we built relationships with the people that can. So every year we'll build more relationships and kind of it will help to make things easier as well. But truly, I think our planning team, in order to spread the work out, probably 10 to 12 people, core people. Yeah. Yeah. Like team. Yeah. Kylie's like maybe 15. But it's true. It's true. But we had teams this year, which helped. So if you have a focus area that you're really good at and you want to do a certain thing on a certain team, you can be more focused on that team. You don't have to wear a bunch of hats.
Yeah.
It was a lot, but we had some things we wanted to make sure we got done. And I think we did it. I think I counted we had about 8 to 10 core people that really kind of spent a lot of time. Like Tommy, for example, is one of them, right? He ran the mac and cheese stuff. So Tommy used to live in the neighborhood. He doesn't live in the neighborhood anymore. He is the CEO of Paramount Schools and runs a foundation called the Kelly Wensing Community Fund. For those of you who've lived here for a while, Kelly Wensing was one of our neighbors. She was our former president. She passed away unexpectedly in 2021. So her former husband, Tommy, has been very involved because he wants to see the neighborhood do great things. So there's 8 to 10 people, give or take. I'm looking at Tim because he and I were like, he was helping me with my slides the other day and we were looking at the list. Yeah. That's a good question. Examples of the teams. We had a marketing team. We had a volunteer team. We had really need more of a team around coordinating beverages. Tommy kind of led the team that did the food coordination. So he worked with one of our consultants and did the macaroni and cheese throwdown. So I think those at sponsorship, like kind of coordinating sponsorship. Yeah, that's true. Silent auction and sponsorship kind of go together, right? And then honestly, just people to kind of do physical things like put the pretty things in the baskets, right? So, but those are some examples. Say it again. Yeah, the late fall. Potentially. And some of that's just reaching out to people to make relationships, right? Some of that's just the time spent. Probably March, April. Yeah. And really, you want to start building up your momentum so that you don't realize that you ran out of time, right? It's better to, I'm a project manager in my day job. You get the pain over early, right? So you just work as hard as you can early so that hopefully by the end, you're enjoying it and you're not racing to the end. Any other questions on wine and cheese? Go ahead.
You've got the time and you've got the interest, like it's a great way to get involved so that we can keep building up that financial resource so that we can.
True. And the money I said we had in restricted funds for the Wine and Cheese Festival, that doesn't count this. That is money that we have set aside. This money is what we can use for our neighborhood. That's not set aside necessarily for the festival. Correct. Absolutely. I didn't sleep the whole week because it was supposed to thunderstorm, for example. And it was 900 degrees. Correct. There's a lot of risk there with that. You're absolutely right. So pre-sales are right. Pre-sales are great because, you know, folks have already committed. The silent auction is nice because it's online. People don't have to be there to do that. Sponsorship helps to kind of close that gap. But you're absolutely right. There's a big risk in if the weather's bad or something happens and people don't buy the day of, there's absolutely a big risk right there.
So they can prepare goods.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think a lot of people in the room here were there and it didn't feel like you couldn't move around, right? You had room to move around. And I know at some other festivals, they've gotten to the point where you can't move. And I don't think we want to get there, but I think we could absolutely grow even a little bit more and still be comfortable. it was a little busier this year than last year, and last year we definitely had 1,500 people. So I think we had over 1,500. I don't know if we had quite 2,000 this year. Right, we-
Tickets and people buy different amounts.
Yeah.
So last year we counted how many of the wristbands came. So we might plan to do a little bit more.
Right. And I actually on the inventory sheet, I actually have a note on what we have left, so we can subtract it from what you noted last year. Yeah. Yeah. Plus people that couldn't drink, so they were younger.
Yeah.
Favorites?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of fantastic sponsors this year. It was much appreciated. Anything else on the festival?
Nice job.
Well, thanks, guys.
Just a couple of final things. As I always want to share, Girls Night Out, it's pretty popular in the neighborhood. Gwen is sitting in the back, so if somebody's not on the list and you want to talk to her, please do so. And upcoming events. So speaking of the Girls Night Out or GNO, next Thursday, August 28th, we're combining that with our Mingle on the Esplanade. So that'll be, I think 6 p.m. is what we usually do for that. Yeah. And so come out next Thursday. We're going to have a great time. Tonight is obviously the first thing on this list. I wanted to share it just because, oh yeah, Renee's going to bring some gin. Oh, these guys are going to, somebody's bringing gin. So we're going to have a lovely time on the Esplanade on Thursday evening next week. Please join us. I'm going to move this just in case somebody wants to use this QR code. There we go. And I wanted to include it on the list, even though we really don't have anything to do with it, but the Arsenal 5K is coming up. You can look at the website, arsenal5k.org. That is going to be on Saturday, September 20th at 9 a.m. I believe the proceeds from that, it's pretty cheap. I looked it up. It's like $25 to do the 5K for an adult. And the proceeds, I believe, go to things around student education. So it's kind of a fundraiser for the high school to put back into the students. So they run kind of around the Arsenal Tech campus and maybe a little bit outside of it, but it's kind of like they've got such a big area that they're able to sort of run a whole 5K in their area. Friday, September 26th, we have had it on the schedule for a long time. Hopefully you've at least put like a save the date for an outdoor movie, 7:30 p.m. We wanted to make it late enough in the season that it wasn't super late when the sun went down. It'll be something that is kid enough friendly. If you have some suggestions, please throw them my way. I really struggle when there's so many options to pick like the one. As far as location, we have not had the location on the calendar for where that was going to be. Earmuffs, Rosemary. I called the city and asked them about using Highland Park after dark, and they gave me a 30-page application to fill out. So I kind of just stopped emailing back with them. I may throw up the location kind of like the week before, and we'll just kind of go to Highland Park anyway. So you can kind of like check the location before you go, because if we decide it's not worth the risk, we'll just do it on the Esplanade. We also have to make sure we've got a power source for Highland Park. So also if anybody's got like a big camping battery they want to like throw into the cause, we need to run like the projector and the laptop in a speaker. So we're kind of working out the logistics on that a little bit, but it will be put up on the website calendar when we kind of finalize those details, and social media when we finalize those details. Chili cook-off, that was kind of like in the, ether for a while, but just in the last week or two, a lot of neighbors have said like, yes, chili cook-off. So it's going to be on October 16th, 6:30 to 9 p.m. on the Esplanade. They've already got I've got the QR code there because they've already got the sign up genius created where you can go in, and I think we had like 12 chilies last year. It was like a whole spread. It was amazing. And they were all really good. And we have little like stickers so you can vote on your favorite, and then we can kind of get a winner. This year there's going to be some prizes for the winner. So that's super exciting. So yeah, join us for the chili cook-off on the Esplanade. And then Saturday, October 25th, we're having a fall cleanup. Do you want to say anything? If you do, come up here to the bike. Watch the other. Yeah.
So our fall cleanup is, does not involve Marion County Health Department, so we won't have the picker trucks. We will have a dumpster, on the Esplanade. This is all, set up. Reminders about the dumpster that's not for your renovation. Please don't put your old cabinets in there. It is truly for debris. I'm also checking with, Marion County though, if we maybe have a lot of, brush. We could possibly do a brush pile that they'll pick up, and I will let everyone know about that. Don't fill the dumpster above the top line, or else Keep Indianapolis Beautiful won't be able to haul it off for us. We will meet at Redev on Michigan at 9 o'clock. I'll have, yeah, two-way Michigan.
You can go and come.
We'll have some refreshments, and we'll have tools loan and kind of let people know where to go. If you know any hot spots around the neighborhood that you'd like for a group to focus on, please send it to info@Indy Holy Cross, and Jen will get it to me. Watch social media and the Urban Times for more information. Thank you. Oh, and pre-cleanup, of course. Yeah. So thank you, and we'll see you all there or before.
Okay. Yeah. So sometimes we have neighbors that are like, I'm not in town that Saturday. So if you want to do something that week leading up to it, email info@holycross.org. I will forward that on to Amanda so she knows where all those piles are. We did that last year. I think it worked pretty well. Oh,
I can do bags.
bags. Okay. So if you're doing pre-cleaning, put it in bags, but not like a 50-pound bag of dirt. Yeah. So November 20th is our next meeting like this of our member meeting. That'll be here again. Thank you, Ball State, for hosting us. And then in December, we don't have a date yet, but I think Susan has maybe said she's going to help us out putting the holiday party together this year. So that'll be great. If you want to help Susan with the holiday party, please let her know. I know sometimes there's like, just getting tablecloths and things like that. So let her know if you want to help out. But she's gonna kind of let us know. I think you're maybe just looking into options right now for. Okay. Yeah, you get. You come ask if you want. Yeah, she said we're looking for a venue right now, and
there's a lot of history here. We used to have the party in the neighborhood, and we kind of outgrew it. Then we moved to another venue, the Leader Crans, and the people attending went way down. So it's kind of like the Wine and Cheese Festival. We're looking for a venue, and we're deciding whether we want to spend money on the party or whether we want to keep it another, looking for free locations. How close does it need to be to the neighborhood? If it's within a mile, are people willing to walk outside of the neighborhood or drive to come to the party? Because we don't have as many good venues within Holy Cross. So yeah, I don't know if anybody got comment. Yeah, Vinny. The gym, like Kelsey's gym?
like Taylor Walker.
Yeah.
Well, there's some criteria. Let me just tell you real quickly. If you guys could find us a venue, that'd be great, because we want to lock it down soon. We'd like to have a cash bar. So we don't want to bring liquor in. We don't want the liability, cash bar and a bartender. We want to be able to cater. We don't want the neighbors to have to bring in a pitch in again. I mean, it'd be nice. We made a little bit of money. It kind of would be nice to spend a little money and treat the neighborhood to a nice party. So we'd like to be able to bring in our own food. Parking, of course, is an issue if it's not within a walking distance. I don't have my notes with me. What's that?
On Mass Ave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's $200. It's farther away than Leader Crans.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have some choices. There are the Leader Krantz. I actually haven't been there. It's a big beer hall, but we have some really cool venues like the Yard or Parlor Public House and Hotel Tango, and they're kind of close, and I think they would all be reasonable. But does the neighborhood want to spend money? I guess that's the first question. Do you want money for a Christmas party, or do we want a free Christmas party? I think I could throw a nice party for $2,500. Is this appropriate to talk about this?
We've up until now, we've always
They've
done,
been free.
so
It's
we've
been
done
free, yeah.
kitchens and we've
Right.
found a free venue. So that was just
Right.
kind of a thing. But
Where was it?
we've done it at the Leader Krantz a couple of years. We did it at Indiana City Brewing back when that was there. We did it at Rad Brewing, when it was still Rad Brewing. They had
Natural State Provisions.
we do it at Natural State one
Yeah.
year.
Once or twice.
Well,
We outgrew it, and
and we-
now they're even.
And I think we did it once at Flat 12 years ago too. So like we just kind of have bounced around to the places. So the breweries have been good because they'll usually have like an evening where they're closed. So like they'll be
Right.
closed on Monday or Tuesday, and then like we can just, they can
Come in.
ask
They
their
have no
servers to
problem
come
with
in and,
caterers.
we just pay the cash bar and that kind of thing. So we've been able to get away with really not
Pretty
spending much money at all so far.
Okay.
Women's prison. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where we're going from there.
So if you're interested in helping out, talk to Susan. I think one of the issues we had last year with the Leader Krantz was there was construction on Washington Street. So you had to kind of, I wonder if some people just decided not to go because they had to cross Washington Street and it was like down to one lane. And I don't know if you remember, we had the big concrete barriers and you had to kind of get through them. The Leader Krantz. So it's a social club. It's a German social club. And they have like a band and they play music and sometimes the band competes and yeah. So it's set back from the road and you just like can't see it when you drive by. So it's like this little gym that, just kind of, anyway, and they've been a great partner, but we will talk about that. And then just a few slides that I always show at the end, staying connected. We have the calendar. That's the same QR code I put up a second ago. You can always email info@indyholycross.org if there's something going on that the whole neighborhood is invited to. We have the Urban Times, which Amanda helps put the articles together for that. So if you have anything that you think might want to go in there, there is a delay. You can't like get something in there and hope it goes out in 2 weeks. It's going to be like 8 weeks probably is your lead time. Yeah. A month ahead. And then we've got our social medias and all the things. So if you would like to support the neighborhood and you feel like you haven't submitted dues in a while, we do ask for voluntary dues of $20 per household per year. The number hasn't gone up in a long time. We might talk about that in the coming months, but we do appreciate. So this money is not, this money is different than the foundation money. So the Holy Cross Neighborhood Association is a 501c7, which is for like civic organizations and to really like build community with the civic organization. And we're not really supposed to like make money so much as like the neighbors can contribute dues. And then what we usually use that for is like we pay for the website, we pay for the Zoom account that it records these meetings, we pay for supplies if we need them for cleanup days, things like that. So that's what these dues are for. The foundation is a 501c3. So they kind of do the festival and a bunch of other things. So these dues are different than what Renee kind of presented on earlier. And then upcoming meetings, if you were interested in kind of getting into the details of things, our next association board meeting is on October 14th. You can email for information on that. We do it via Zoom, so it's just a link, but I don't put it out on the public calendar just to make sure that we don't have people who aren't living in the neighborhood attend. And then the next meeting of like this one is November 20th. And then the foundation has their next meeting on September 24th. That's in person at somebody's house. So again, just email if you're interested and we can get you hooked up with the right people if you're interested in like maybe becoming a foundation board member. And then that's it. This is the last side. Thank you. So I got the chili cook-off. If you missed that QR code earlier, I got the calendar and I got the dues payment. Appreciate everybody coming. Yeah, drink some of the beer in there. Take one with you.
Yeah, just don't open it.
No, yeah.